All of the information you need about this secret illegal crossover is contained in the covers of these comics. Captain Marvel and Shazam, the Avengers and Justice League. The rivalry between Marvel and DC has been raging for more than 50 years. But did you know there was a time where Marvel and DC were actually secretly working together? Almost like a secret crossover, but it was illegal. Let's talk about it. Hi, I'm Craig and welcome to Market Power, where we look at the power of markets and economics to shape our world. I collected comics as a teenager, and my favorite titles were like X-Men and Spider-Man, all those related titles. Although I collected various titles, there was one common theme. They were all Marvel. My attachment to Marvel Comics led me to read Reed Tucker's Slugfest, which is a book about the rivalry between Marvel and DC and a lot of the business and economics behind it. And one of the stories from Slugfest led me to go out and buy my first DC comics ever, because this story is chock full of economics and I wanted to have a piece of it. So I bought 3 Superman titles, and I also got 3 Captain America titles, all from 1971. Can you tell why I got those titles? All of the information you need about this secret illegal crossover is contained in the covers of these comics. First, some background. For a product aimed at cash-strapped kids, an important part of the competition between Marvel and DC was the comic's price. Historically, the prices moved together, starting at 10 cents, then increasing to 12 cents, and eventually to 15 cents. Even though these prices were moving at the same time, they were pretty small price increases, so nobody really thought much of it. As you can see in these issues here, at the end of the summer of 1971, comics were still priced at 15 cents. But then something unprecedented happened. Comic prices jumped to 25 cents, a significantly larger increase than had happened any time before. And it happened both at Marvel and DC right at the same time. Check out these issues right here and you can see they are both priced at 25 cents. Consumers were convinced there was collusion. Collusion is when competing companies conspire together to raise prices. Adam Smith famously said, "People of the same trade seldom meet together, even for merriment and diversion, but the conversation ends in a conspiracy against the public, or in some contrivance to raise prices." So even back in 1775, Adam Smith is worried about this issue of companies coming together and talking about raising prices. And the conditions were perfect for this in the 1970s. The 2 major companies were Marvel and DC, so there were really no other competitors, only 2 companies to collude between. Both companies were using the same printer, so they could easily coordinate their information and raise those prices at the same time. But economic theory shows us there's a fundamental problem with collusion. If there's no one there to enforce the agreement, that is, if there's no one there to make sure everybody keeps their prices high, then that agreement is going to fall apart. Somebody is going to have an incentive to cheat. It's easy to see the problem with colluding if you just imagine yourself in the place of one of these comic book companies, okay? So let's imagine, since I'm a Marvel guy, that I am Marvel, and I've just agreed with DC to raise prices to 25 cents. Now, I know that people are going to be upset about this, but I also know that I can afford to lower my prices to 20 cents. And not only can I afford it, if I lower my price to 20 cents, I have the potential to capture a lot more customers, because now my 20-cent comic book, even though it is more expensive than that 15-cent comic book, looks a lot more attractive than a 25-cent comic book. So a lot of people might start leaving DC and buying my 20-cent Marvel comic books. So Marvel has this really strong incentive to lower its prices and cheat on this collusive agreement. So if I'm Marvel, what should I do? I should lower my comic prices. And what's amazing is that is exactly what happened. Marvel kept that 25-cent price for just 1 month and then immediately cut to 20 cents. DC, on the other hand, stuck with that 25-cent price, and there were disastrous consequences. They stuck with it for over a year, and during that year, 1972, Marvel for the first time outsold DC and has kept market dominance ever since. I love this story because it is a real-life, salient example of the prisoner's dilemma and the problem with colluding. And I especially love it because you can see the prices right there on the covers. You can see what the prices look like under competition, collusion, and defection. Defection being when Marvel defects from this collusive agreement. So the next time you're thinking about Marvel versus DC, think about the economics that led Marvel to be the market leader. If you're interested in more about the rivalry between Marvel and DC, go check out Reed Tucker's book Slugfest. I've put a link in the description below. Also, let me know in the comments below where you stand on the Marvel DC spectrum. Be sure to subscribe so that way you can stay updated on videos and economics here on Market Power. Thanks for watching today, and we'll see you next time.